Hello friends, welcome into another video. I'm Dust Food, and today we are looking at the year 6 anniversary event and what I need to see from that to consider it a success. Now, what we know so far is, well, I gotta stop myself already. What we think we know is that it's going to be the Dredge as the killer and Hattie Carr as the survivor. Now, we also probably know what the map looks like. It looks pretty cool. It kind of gives me almost Insidious vibes with like the red light and all that. I'm really digging the design of all that. So if you're here for me to talk about the leaks, I made a video about the leaks. That's not really what I want to cover here. I want to take this video in another direction. No, what I want to do with this one, as opposed to just talking about the leaks, is I want to say, okay, so let's say the Dredge and Hattie and this cool looking map, you know, let's say these are all real. Let's say these are coming. Okay, that's not the entirety of the anniversary event, or at least it shouldn't be the entirety of the anniversary event. Anniversary events are a time to celebrate all things DBD. Everything Dead by Daylight needs to be celebrated here. And I hope that Behavior goes that extra mile to make this a big one, especially because they can't fall back on a massive property this time. There is no Scream. Which I guess technically it wasn't Scream, it was just the Ghostface mask, but you get the point. There was no Scream, there is no Silent Hill, there is no Resident Evil. This is an original anniversary event for the first time since The Clown. That is 4 years ago. That's a really, well, actually more like 5 years ago. That is a really, really long time ago to have to go back to, and they need to nail this one. They need to knock this out of the park. So what do they need to do? What would be a checklist for what I want to see to look back on this one and say, wow, what a great event they gave us? Thankfully, while I was actually working on this video, I was already starting to hammer out the script and all that and try to collect my thoughts. Behavior sent out an email that kind of touches on this, so you probably got this yourself. Maybe you didn't. I'll put it up on the screen in case you haven't seen it. But in advertising their May 17th dev stream, they promised that they are going to address the following. That being a year 7 roadmap, quality of life improvements, gameplay improvements, Chapter 24 reveal, which again, we do think we know, but we don't know for sure. So, you know, hang on to your butts. This may be a big one. Next, a look at the store and the 6th anniversary in-game celebrations. And honestly, that is a pretty promising checklist that they're already giving us of things they're going to address in the stream. But that's not enough. This needs to, it needs to be a banger of an anniversary event as well. And that's what I wanted to address here. So let's take these kind of line by line and talk about some things I need to see to consider this a massive success. And as always, I do like to point out, I love Dead by Daylight. I want the best for this game. I've been highly critical in the past, but I will never be anything but pulling for DBD. I want it to go well, so when I say what I need to see, these are constructive. These are things that I hope to see so that the anniversary event can be as good as possible. So I'm not just going to put it out there and say, what I need to see is something different from the Dredge, because if they've already committed to the Dredge, they need to go through with that. Anything they replace in about a week's time would be disastrous. So I am going to be constructive with this. And let's start off with an easy one. Anniversary cakes. Now, if you are kind of new to the game, you might not know about these, but every single anniversary event, they put out a special item you can get from the Blood Web called anniversary cakes. And generally, the thought process is that they correspond their value to the year that's being celebrated. So for year 3, the cakes gave you 103% bonus blood points. For year 4, it was 104%, and yada yada, so on and so forth. So this year would be 106%, which honestly, 103 to 106 is not a massive jump, so it's not like, you know, it would only be if like we reach year 20 where maybe they start saying, wow, that's a lot of blood points for putting out there. We're giving out a lot of blood points for free. So there had been a rumor that this year would be the first year, at least in a while, that they hadn't done anniversary cakes, which I think would be a massive, massive letdown. A lot of people, and I know this, I've asked around. Now, again, because it's my word of the freaking channel, that's anecdotal. I realize that. For me to say I've asked people and they've said they really, really look forward to the cakes and they plan around the cakes, you know, there may be, maybe every player that I didn't ask does not plan around the cakes. Maybe it's not a big deal to them. Maybe I just happen to hit the right assortment of people. But in my experience, people really, really look forward to these cakes. and they try to stock up on them, and they just enjoy a time where the blood point grind is greatly reduced. So that would be something that I would really, really hope they do. Because I do think that it would be something that would be much appreciated by the community during a chapter which, you know, look, I'm disappointed by the community's reaction to the dredge leaks. You are allowed to feel how you feel, but the community is already saying there's going to be a wasted anniversary event, and I really hope that they can at least put some cakes out there to convert a portion of that crowd. The email from BHVR mentions quality of life improvements, and I think that we're kind of keeping on the same track here. I think this is the time to announce whatever it is that they have planned for massive reduction of the BP grind, of the blood point grind. So this is something that they have said, hey, we're aware it's a problem, we're working on it, we have something. They said it's not removing perk tiers, which I still think is a massive mistake. I think they should remove perk tiers. You know, I mean, the case against perk tiers is old, and it's not really one I'm going to go down every fine point of, but basically the argument goes that nobody wants to use a perk at tier 1 anyway, and by having the perk tiers, you make it where I have to unlock the same perk 3 times, which is just outrageous in a game where blood points are given out in rather miserly fashion. So whether it's removing the perk tiers or whatever, I think now is the time to go on and show us what you've been working on. That would be a massive thing to engender goodwill within the community at a time where you are all about celebrating the community and the game. Go on and put that out there and let people celebrate that they don't have to, you know, basically take out a second job just to get all of their characters to P3 level 50. Because I'll tell you, I have over 2,000 hours in the game. I do not have all of my characters to P3 level 50 with every single perk. It's just, it is a commitment. It is a massive commitment. And where I realize you always get the people, well, you don't have to have every perk on every person. Yeah, but some people go for that. Some people really go for that. And right now, it's kind of insane that you have to basically take out a second job. So I think now would be a great time for that. I think the community would be very, very excited to see some kind of BP reduction, or grind reduction, not a blood point reduction. Oh gosh, no, please don't take us back to those days. Just a grind reduction, because right now the grind is insane. They also talk about gameplay improvements, and I have 2 things for this one. So firstly, fix some of the lingering issues in the game. So they just re-added Midwich because they said they had fixed the issue. And in case you didn't know, the issue was that if you've played on Midwich, you know it's basically a square, and you have the long hallways, and each one's 2 floors. And what was happening is there would not be a hook within walking distance. So you would down a survivor, but then no matter what you did, you literally could not get them to a hook unless you had agitation and iron grasp, which obviously most people aren't running in most games, and you shouldn't have to run them to get hooks. So what survivors could do is they could go down in an area where there were no hooks, and they were essentially guaranteed to escape, and it was just super uncool. So they reworked that, except as of the time of recording, last night when I was playing, so last night from the time of recording I should say, I played on Midwich, and I had that same issue. I was playing as Clown, and even trying to use the yellow bottles, I could not get to a hook. I looked around, it was super frustrating, and I don't want to say, oh, I lost because of that, but yeah, I probably lost because of that, because, you know, the survivors caught on, and it was super unfortunate, and, you know, that's the kind of thing they need to work out. They need to find the existing bugs and squash those, but then I said it was a 2-parter, and part 2 would be no game-breaking bugs with this update. Now, I realize that there are some smaller bugs that are going to happen. I realize that. But basically, for this to be as successful of an event as possible, we cannot have a situation where BHVR has to come out and say, oh yeah, we had to disable these 2 maps, these 3 perks, and this 1 older killer. You cannot have that type of mistake. You cannot have that during the anniversary event. If the anniversary is all about celebrating your game, please do not put yourselves in the position where people are just going to mock. That would be absolutely disappointing in every single way. I don't have just a ton to say about the Chapter 24 reveal or the thing where they talk about a look at the store. For me personally, I've said my piece. I'm excited for the dredge. Hattie, look, survivors, you either get excited for them or you don't, and it's basically just, it's a flip of a coin. Hattie doesn't really appeal to me as some of the past survivors have, but that's fine. Some people are going to be very excited. Mostly I get excited about what the new killer is, and I'm excited for the dredge. I'm excited to see how that goes. I hope that the power is fun. that people on both sides can have a good time with this new killer, and I hope that obviously no perk turns out to be, too OP or anything like that, or too terrible that it's never used. I hope it's just a well-balanced chapter, and I hope that people really like it. As far as talking about a look at the store, my only real hope there, and this is a long shot, is that they're going to announce some way to earn Auric cells without spending, USD dollars. But I highly doubt that. Maybe they're talking about a reduction in price. I doubt that too. If I had to go with what I think they'll do, talking about the store, that I think is actually realistic, I would imagine, firstly, I'd imagine they're just going to announce some new skins, but, that'd be a massive disappointment, just because they announce skins all the time. So what I hope they do is they go through and they take away some of the sets, because there's so many sets in the store now, and it's just the dumbest thing. I've got to say it. It's just the greediest, dumbest thing, because some sets make sense. Turning Jill into Claire, turning Leon into Chris, turning Steve into Jonathan. I get why those are sets. You can't put Jonathan's head on Steve's body, whatever. I mean, Gerald begs to differ, but you get the point. I get those. But why is it that my pyramid head can't have, the barbed wire weapon with the glowing helmet? I don't know if you'd call it a helmet, whatever the pyramid is. Why can I not do that? Why must that be a set? Why must the Hades clown weapon not be used with other clown costumes? The answer for most of these, if I'm being entirely honest, is that they make more money if you have to buy the whole set. And I think that's a pretty scummy thing, so I hope that maybe they're announcing some kind of rework to sets, but beyond that, I don't really know what they're going to do with the store. It's probably not going to be something of great consequence. Finally, they mentioned 6th anniversary in-game celebrations, and this is a huge thing. So, obviously there's going to be crowns. For all the characters that have not gotten crowns to this point, every year we get the batch of new characters that are able to get crowns. It's going to be the 4 chapters from the previous year. That's great. However, they need something else. I hope they add some kind of fun mini game. The crowns are one thing, but I hope they're 2 things. I hope there's something else that gives us something to really sink our teeth into. And, that's going to pretty much do it for me. I just really hope this is a real banger of an anniversary. I hope that this is the best anniversary yet. I hope they can do something that's some kind of fun little mini game that adds a little bit of spice to the games, because I don't know about you, but I have really been dragging with DBD lately. It has just not been as fun here lately, and I really, really hope that this is just an amazing, amazing anniversary event, and I hope that everybody has a great time with it. But that's going to do it for me. Go on and let me know in the comments below what you need to see to consider this anniversary event a success. And until next time, I've been DusFood. Bye, friends.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my